Sorry, there's no sound. אני אתקשר אליהם. יואי, זה קטע. Reb Chaim, he didn't put the sound.
What does that mean?
There's no sound.
Not only.
No sound.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. Omar Rove. B'linyan gitin eino ken. What does that mean? Rashi says. Alefikach koi. Dashmuinan shakobas ha'oines potatu memen zoinos. We learned previous sugya that the prevention of getting married after 12 months, if it was by force, exempts you from paying mezoinos to the woman, to the wife. Liyan gitin entanas oines moeles. Reference to gitin, the claim of oines doesn't help. What does that mean, the claim? The claim of oines helps. Entanas oines moeles doesn't help. If we help means the taina helps. If oines begitin works, it means you have tainas oines. If oines begitin means you don't have tainas oines. What does taina mean? A claim. Okay. This is something we have to understand. Rashi moves the subject to a claim. What? Could be another two options. Blame, achayus. You can say it's a result. Tainas oinus moelis means a claim of oinus helps for responsibility. Or claim of oinus works that the mice is not me. The mice doesn't relate to me. The claim is the claim. What Basin considers, because of that, it's another shite. One second. Before I want to step. Last week we learned. Listen, we're going to start like this. Last week we learned that after 12 months, the husband needs to give the wife if he doesn't marry. And the big oil, like that. Why? And even the Kashmur learned that we had a machlokes. What's the reason after 12 months that 9 days the condition of court needs to pay? Is it a knas? That's a fine, or 9 days gives zechia, gives you rights. Is it a fine, a payment of fine, or it's meriting a right? Zechia. Zechia means you merit zechus. You zoiche tvias nesuin. You zoiche, she's zoiche, if she prepares herself, she's zoiche betvias mezoinis. It is zechia or it's a knas. Wait a second. If it's a knas, they're very good. There, oinus works because oinus simply means not to be blamed. It's not responsible. You're not responsible. Like we see, a woman was not a woman. Naira Marosa was raped, and the Torah said, "Don't do anything." Naira doesn't know. Don't do anything. Why? Because not responsible. But it's not responsible. A fine means I fine you. Did something wrong. The oinus, I have a claim of oinus. I'm not responsible. You lean on the punishment. You lean on the knas, on the fine. So if halacha of mezoinos and tvias nesuim, it's a knas. Lichoira, there's no dinyoy, there's no similarity between the story of the oinus there to our case. Our case, yes, oinus begitin and elas begitin, it's a totally different story. A person can give again from his own free will, and he can make conditions from his own free will. So that's a shaila of what? If I'm an oinus, it's not a punishment. It's punishment. Shaila is that I bring myself. I need to bring myself. First of all, there's an that I don't need an oinus, but even I am an oinus, it's nothing to do with oinus of punishment or fine. What's the dinyan? But if you're going to second to the Birkas Shmuel, or like he explains the Ikadam of Rav Yosef, that by Ksubis, the night based in, it's a night based in, she's soiche betvias mezoinos. She's a night based in, you have a schus. The Chazal gave you, if you, not people, Chazal gave the woman, or the husband, tvias nesuim, after 12 months, he's soiche betvias nesuim, and she's soiche betvias mezoinos. So when you have an oines, it's removed. Is included in night basin or not? When basin made up night, if you don't come after 12 months, you soicha those things. This is a night basin was fulfilled or not fulfilled. One second. So then I can make a comparison between Gitin and Ksubot. Because Gitin is the same. A person has his own voluntarily gave a get. And he makes a Tnai condition. The question is, did he fulfill the condition or even by oinus? A big difference. It only comes over and says, only by Ksubis is oinus, but by Gitin is no oinus. And the other economically says there is oinus. They won't explain the places of the Rabbanon. So Sananusa is the rabbi is mafkia, but both opinion holds there is oinus. So both opinion holds there is oinus. So it has to be, so he says, Alefiko. He said, Robert goes on Bechain. What says Bechain? He adopts the oinus of Ksubis of 12 months to the story of Gitin. And then there's a machleke, there's two tradition, did the rabbis or mafkia because Hutzas Anuso is the oinus beginning? Oh no, they said it's the same. Like the Ikanama says, what's the Bechain? According to both, is similar. The question is the rabbis knocked it out. What's the similarity? Subis, 12 months is a class. Going to the Osamek. Here it's tonight. Condition with two people. Yes.
Here the famous oinus. What is the sleeper? How the connection?
What does oinus potu mean?
Oinus potus you.
Potu from what? From an oinus? From responsibility? Sure does. Yes, it does. So what's to give it? Goes on a dini. The same dean of oinus patters you from type basis. But we're asking, if it's a fine, if 12 months is a fine because the husband prevented, big difference. Oh, from what? From oinish? That's what we're asking. That's what we're asking. It's oinish. So there I found Chazal say oinish patterns. So then I can say Mechan Gitin. I mean, so I cannot say Mechan Gitin. There oinish patterns and oinish. And here it's condition. Condition I gave it with condition. The oinus considered fulfilled or not fulfilled. That's to do with tnoim, dinay tnoim, and chalois of tnoim. If I was oinus, was a chalois scheme at nine. But there, it's a child, different child. It's a child of responsibility. I want to punish you. Chazal says, I punish you after 12 months. You don't want to get married. I punish you. Oinus, I don't punish you. Okay, but no one here. Here's a min shaila, ultimate shaila. But if there, but if by Ksubit, it's like the Birkas Shmuel learns, like the Ikadam, that there is the Chiyat Naibezin, I'm Soiche B'Tvias Nesuim, she's Soiche B'Schus B'Tvias Mezoinois, Zeschus, So it's a taina, it's a toin venitan, have schus of momoy. Question is, she's a taina's oines. You're not zoiche. I'm answering your zichia no because it's the same thing. So I say, Begitin, yes. What? We're going to answer it both. We're going to answer it both. That by ksubes there's also a zechia, and even if it's not zechia, it's only knas. But oinus, like if somebody jump, because we know somehow, for some reason, that oinus has both. Oinus also paters oinesh, and also makes does not consider kiyumat knives. Okay, and how we learn it? Where do we get it from? This is what we're going to learn. This is the opening of the sugi. Yes, who is before? Yes, Rabbi. Gittin is not Zechia, but Gittin is a Tnai. Zechia is a Taina. Schus Taina to Tovea. And I'm honest, you don't have the Tainas. I have a Tainas honest. I'm into you back. Why you cannot Tovea Mesoilis? You want to moitzi money from you, Zoich money. Have Taina get you that you don't have Zechia because of Tainas honest. Or say here, you have Tnai. Question is, I wasn't the kind of Tnai because of honest, right? Shaila is oines is kiyumat nai, it's a kiyumat nai. Yes, that's what Rashi says. Look, Rashi is medame taina. Read Rashi carefully. V'linyan gitten ein okay. Alefika, koi, dashwina shakovas oines, poteres mina mezoinois. V'linyan gitten ein tainas oines moeles. Means also there's mashma pashas taina. Like the Rikash was to be pashas. So here's a tainas oil. It says, you have a taina of you want my money of the one my designos. You have a taina of oilness. Same thing is here. You claim you want the divorce because if you fill the condition in income, this was fulfilled. I have a taina. No, I was oilness. Comes over says, and tainas always begitin because Chazal knocked it out for some reason. We don't know yet why. Well, later on, I will say putzas and anusas. Snores and putzas. What? No, Samech is not a taina. Samech is a knas. It's a knas. So then you can say, I'm oines hamone patre means you point to me from the knas, from the punishment of the knas. There's no raya that oines is. You can say that the mice after is a knas. You have schus mo because the knas is not. But the precious. If it's knas, and then always what that fits that sugya, because the pater is from punishment, and he is living sugya. So we what's the difference? There's no difference unless we're going to learn even if it's a knas. But we knew that oines is not only pater from oines, it also makes the maise not miyach as you will see soon. Me'elo, whatever it is in this moment. No, so oines you have a tainas oines on the mice and the EQ matnai of knas, but a result of money also here. I have a tainas oinis, or I don't have errors beginning to say that there's no considered, it's not considered EQ matnai by oinis. One second, what do you want to say, Simcha? Yeah, jumping, I don't know, what are you talking about? Kitin or are you talking about ksubas? Yes. So we said if it's night, it's not chus trias, and then it fits. The what? It's not a get ksuba there. There's kanas ksubas. Punishment. Yeah, but it's not a punishment, it's a reality. Marriage, it's conditions. It's dinim condition where people make. He can divorce his own free will. He made a condition, that's his condition. And the question for film is condition, what he had in his das. So oinus is a different rule here. The two pashi mixing oranges and apples with different things. There it's a tool of knas of punishment. Here it's a shaila of oinsim that it's considered as a maisa was the tanai was fulfilled, chalois tanai was fulfilled, or not by honest. It's different shaila, two different subjects. Two different subjects. Like everybody asks, the marit asks, the korbetshurim asks, what's the makor of Enon is beginning to hear? The makor of onsim is from Nagamoirosa is a punishment. Here it's Chalois of Tanoim. Two different things. The same kasha, I'm just opening the mind. I adopt the same kasha to Subis, to here, to Gitin, if you can learn Subis as Knas. That's all I did. That was the first step, and I wanted to start. Yes. What? Yes, Reb Shlomo, no way. One second, please. Yes. Yes.
She talks about Knas.
Yes.
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 What he says, and it was Knas. If he did that, if he doesn't kind of Knas, so if he
Not Knas, Oines. Yes. Be a kid. Right. I agree. No, so what? Yes. So what's the dimion? If two different things, what's the dimion? What's the dimion? The word holiness, two different things there, it's true. Okay, you're happy with that, you stay with that. I'm not happy with that. So the minyonim, how do you jump one another? Yes, holiness, the chenyam gitin. No, it's not dimion. It has to be something intrinsic that both are the same. And the mahut has to be the same. You didn't get anything, you built a question. That's why a question. The question was two different things. Yes, one was a
It says onus, it means a messias of onus or a shock of luck, but that onus is strike to this law. You have to define what is the onus. It's together of it's a physical reality that whatever it is, or it's a luck applied to the union of infant. Onus means be your own.
And how do I psak this psak? How?
If the base of the side.
How?
That the sock of onus.
How basic makes this psak?
That's their business.
I'm asking you.
And how they do it, they have to decide that the original deny that he made, they have to decide what was included in his deny when he made the deny. What's the stop in his deny? Did he include onus as part of what he said? But I don't come, he included all possibly not them, or just the normal ones that
Right.
was not here. So you have to bring a rival.
Right.
What you have in mind,
Right.
you never have in mind.
Good.
So therefore, you don't have in mind, so therefore, they make the facade, they according to what we did.
And what's the other side?
The other side is that he did that. No, it's not that. It's a mitzvah. Something he got killed. The lion ate him. He fell down. He got sick.
So therefore what?
That's a mitzvah.
So the mitzvah is therefore what?
No matter what, when you say the word only, Rashi said the kind of only.
I'm asking. So what the other side? He heard the first side. The other side only. What does the mitzvah? What does the mitzvah mean?
It's a matter of this happened.
So therefore what? So therefore what? That mitzvah of what? So therefore what? What mitzvahs affect us? Who decides? Good. You have to decide on what?
But whether they'll consider what happened in it's included.
Included. So the end is included. What's the difference? I don't hear two sides. It's the mice. The base has to decide if it's included or not. Okay, guys. The Gemara explains in the end of the page that everybody holds, both studying hold Yesh Oinus Begiti. Question is, Chazal Midoraisa Vada Yesh Oinus Begiti. Question is, with the Rabbonon, did they knock out because Prutzas and Tznuah, they knocked out Oinus Begiti. To the level, the Gemara is, how can the rabbis knock out the marriage? So they explain, he did the marriage according to the knowledge of the rabbis. But that's a given that both opinion of both Lashonis of Rava hold that Midoraisa there is Oinus Begiti. Midoraisa there is Oinus. And by Giti Lichoiro, it's not a matter of exemption of responsibility. It's something more, it's condition, question what he meant in his mind. So lichoiro, it's also mixing apple and oranges. Why? Because oines, it's just a matter of umdana to estimate what he meant. He meant to obligate himself. He didn't make that of himself. There's nothing to do with the reality of oines. That what? Because it was on oines. Just a question. Let's estimate what he meant. A or B. Right? And if the Gemara made a dimyon, must be that something more. There's not only exemption of punishment, and it's not only that it's an umdala, rather it's somehow an exemption. Again, there is three possibilities what oinus can do. 3 possibilities. One is I exempt from punishment. The fact that I'm forced, I don't punish the person. That's one way. Another way is, oinus says, even in the laws of Tanoim, conditions, I can say that the condition was not fulfilled because it's always not your fault. Because such a case, I never meant to obligate myself. And oinus, I never meant to obligate myself. So an oinus is just another way to read, to produce an umdana, to read his mind. What? You make it a time that I never meant to obligate myself in such a reality, and the common sense behind such reality that I never meant is there. It's honest to say that he never meant to obligate himself. Okay, that's his raya, it's his claim that he never meant to obligate in such a case. Because it's honest, and most likely he never meant to obligate himself. No, I'm talking about now in concept, no bridge, no nothing. We're going to prove what? I said, instead of saying that oinus is exemption of punishment, we're saying oinus, it's a way to determine, to prove his claim. He says, don't obligate me because I didn't fulfill the condition. No, don't obligate because I never meant to obligate myself in such a case. Why? Because in such a case, I never meant to obligate myself, which means the oinus, it's an umdana, it's estimation that he never meant to obligate himself, or opposite. It's such a shchiach oinus that obviously he meant to obligate himself. Whatever it is, but it's a way to determine his das, his mention, what he meant. That's called umdana of das. But what happens? It's the third passage. Yes, Rabbi. Yeah, but we want to know when Chachomim, we want to know the das of Chachomim. It's again in the end, it's a statement of the rabbis. Rabbi wrote in page 57 in Ksubas, their condition. Now, 1,000 years later, we want to know what the rabbis meant. Rabbis meant, what happens if I'm sick? They didn't write in the law, what happens if I'm sick? It's considered I fulfilled the condition or I didn't fulfill the condition. So it's a question of umdana of what the rabbis, what the law of the rabbis. If it's a knas, okay, it's exempt of punishment. But if it's a condition, and I say, did I fulfill another? So oinus normally would say it's an estimate what the rabbis wanted, or what the personal person, two people made a condition. So oinus will determine what you meant. We don't know. He said, if I don't come 12 months, I'm not coming 30 days. I don't go. He didn't say how he's not going to come. And what way his kids are not coming. So oinus normally will determine, Pshia will determine that he meant if I don't come, Pshia is in. Oinus, common sense say, I never meant to obligate myself. So that's second possibility. The third possibility, which seems to be from this Gemara, that in the case that you don't know what he meant, you can't prove what he meant. Wasn't clear. And you cannot prove from this type of oinus, as Toyses says, shchiach v'lo shchiach. We'll see soon in Toyses. We cannot determine what he meant in his condition. There's no umdana. Cannot use such a case the concept of oinus. I have a claim of oinus. Later says, so what? It's oinus. But so therefore what? But we don't know what you meant. So what we say, oinus magically, boom, you're out. Magic. What's the magic here? Oinus with us. So you all know. The rabbis don't know, and although we don't know, and you don't know yourself, you know what you didn't. You know what is in your mind. Still, since we found oinus in a Torah, and it's oinus, boom, it's in. Which it means it's part of your mind. Part of your mind. It's, that's the shaila. I want to explain. This is very important. This is the whole sugya here. The whole emes, the whole depths of the suit. No, there's three things what oinus can do. Really only two, but from the Gemara here we see a third. Oinus can exempt from a punishment. Oinus can say, that's what I meant in conditions, chalois, night basing, night between people. Oh, I meant not to obligate in such a case. So oinus determines the proof. That's what I meant. He meant not to obligate himself, not to be considered that he fulfilled the condition not coming. Or third possibility, that when I don't know is das, because it's not clear, oinus would work, how oinus would work in condition. Oinus would say, well, I don't know. And oinus would determine that I do know. Does that make sense? So it's not magic. Doesn't make sense that the rabbis, which we don't know, we cannot determine. We have a suffix here. We don't know if he meant or not. It's not clear. Oinus, shchiach or shchiach. We don't know if he meant or not. We don't have an umda if it's in or out. Because it's oinus, is out. Why? Por qué in Spanish? Why? So it's false. So it's a suffix. You know how it's ruled? One second. I'll rule the rules of suffix. I get to be suffix. I momoin suffix and I'm moitzi momoin. He stuck with the suffix. He breaks the suffix as a tool to make a decision on what it's in. You fulfilled it night. Or you're not fulfilled it night. Why? I know it's does that make sense? And not to be blamed. If it's determined, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. If I don't know, and nobody knows, and himself doesn't know, we have a suffix. So let live with a suffix. The rules can't listen. Condition between two people, it's a suffix. And also was a suffix eating because of suffix. There's rules. She needs another get. Make sure that she's out of the suffix. She live with another man, you don't kill her, so because she's a moment will be suffix. I'm going to go on. We have tools to handle suffix. Suddenly the Gemara here, just 1 second, I just want to close up the coffin, the last nail. Suddenly here, what do we see here? So what do you see here? The Gemara used oinus. Yes, the reason why in oinus because rabbinic and it's nuas and portsois, but we don't. I said this the oinus. Let's see Rashi. Rashi daf Gimel Amud Aleph. 1 minute. We'll see a machlokes rishonim here. Let's see Rashi. Why not? When you have a suffix, if that's considered oinus or not, which means you have a suffix if he meant to accept himself or he didn't mean to accept himself in such a case. So be suffix he meant. Yes, when I give a get, listen, if I give a get, Rabbi, I give a get, I make condition, if I don't come, it's a get. And you don't know if I came in I didn't come in such an oinus, I meant to obligate myself that I didn't come. No, that it's out of my condition not coming. I never meant. You don't have a suffix. What's the rule? Forget about the Gemara. What's the normal rule? You said learning took 50 years, 60 years. What do you learn all those years? You have suffix. Suffix giti. No. Yeah, but oinus, it's a question of umtunas das. I don't need a special rule of Mekoel from the Torah to learn Lanairo Sodovo to hear. Because it's just a shaila, I don't need it. Let's say there's no parsha in the Torah of Nara Moirosa. If I would say yes, oines beginning there, it's a question of umdana. And according to Gemara says, Vada yes oines, just the Rabbanon do mafkia, according to the first solution. According to the Rabbanon mafkia. But I say Vada yav oines. If I would read the Gemara before any Rishonim, I would say it's a shaila of umdana. And somehow the Gemara decided that cholo, Mosak Mivro, all those things are onsim or not onsim. Mosak Mivro is not oines because it's poishea. Cholo, it's oines that, and I said it's an umda that he never meant to obligate himself. But that's not what Rashi says. That's what Ran says, and some of the Rishonim, Rashi says different. Let's see Rashi. And Dav Gimel Amud Aleph. Rashi says Dav Gimel Amud Aleph, the midoraisa lo avegita. Midoraisa is not a get. Why? Shematzinu tainas oines min haTorah. We found a claim of oines from the Torah. Shenemar, as it says, V'lanayro lo itaise tovo. Oh, Rashi made the whole Gemara complicated. Rashi uses the Mekor, the source of why yesh oines oines. Is that a question of umdana? Is that a question of umdana? It's the power of oines that we see by Nara Moirosa, engaged girl, that she was raped in the field. So we found Tainas Oines, we found Shematzin. Tainas Oines, say here it's a Taina. What's a Taina? What's a Taina? Without Rashi, I would learn, I'm rejecting. Without Rashi, I would say, yesh oines and oines, ein oines chachom mafkia, yesh oines no chachom mafkia. But the oines here doesn't mean oines lanagro tasodovo. Oines here means it's only a raya for Istaina, for Umdana to say what he meant in condition. But Rashi made a big hole here. Rashi sunk the boat. Rashi says, you know which oines we talk about? Oines of Nara Moirosa. You know for that. So what's I don't learn from there. It's a shadow of that. I don't even know how I'm supposed to teach you when the lesson was a clear oines. This is a pshia. I need Lanai to teach me on see. It's a shadow of that. I don't need. I don't need the power. So it means there's something new. What is something new? Yes. And how can it? Now I can say it's more than that. We talk between people in this. How can the Torah solve this when I don't know? If I know, I don't need the Nayakos. And if I don't know, because of his fakest, like Tosis says, and I don't know, so how can the Nayakos solve it? Magic? Yes, Rabbi. What's it? What do you want to say? Yes, Rabbi. Yes. Right. Good. I say if I don't come after 12 months, I'll do it. There you go. It's a get or I'll go 12 months. Right. Yeah. No, but we look. No. No. Mickey's not boxes. There, I say, Arusosi, Lekuchosi, Tzalosi. I said words which I don't know what he meant. If I found the Torah that means Kiddushin, so that determines what I meant in my words. It's not the Torah. From the day I know what he meant. And sometimes I go over Loshem Neochom. I don't know Loshem Chazal. Depends on the case. Here's not Leshoinois. It's not lingua. It's not Leshoinois. It's a question, that's what he meant, was obligated up to Tnai for a month when his oinus is Q. Not Q, don't do that. What? Yeah, but in his Loshem, what he meant. Here, something else. Somebody said 12 months, and we don't know oinus happened if he includes, so he didn't include himself. So Rashi says, We have a source that tightness on this works. What do you need a source? To Shaila Vundana. Must be that even once again, must be, I want to explain this. Must be that even I don't have an Umdana, so I'm stuck. Somehow, this oiness that we found, oiness on the Torah will solve it. How we don't know yet. Now I want to say opposite. Listen carefully, opposite. What? The one who doesn't want to get to be a get, the husband. Or the woman, if she wants to get the bed, one wants the gain. The rape case, the woman. Sure, she doesn't want to be killed. No, we claim for. But obviously she has to say, okay. Now, guys, shh. I want to say opposite. This is very important. This is now we starting this year. Once we got that, I want to explain something very important in the movement of the Gemara. People read the Gemara, they don't realize what's going on here. So I want to bring two cases of the Gemara that the Gemara pushes off what really the Gemara meant to push off. Listen carefully. The Gemara brings two ayahs that oinus doesn't apply in Gittin. One is the case if somebody gives a get from now, and he says, a get is right now, with a condition that I'm not going to come in 12 months as a get from now. And he died. The Gemara was also sick, same thing. So he didn't come. So then the law is, still there's a get. Before I was saying, what the kasha? They're out there. The Gemara brings a raya. I'll bring you a proof. In this beginning, the Gemara brings two rayas. And when the Gemara says yes, the Gemara brings us as two kashas. It's the same. I want to explain the shackle of the what happened here. Very important to understand, because this is really the number one understanding what the Gemara is. Otherwise, it's hard to understand what's going on. The Gemara brought two rayas. One raya is, this is a careful b'siyata d'ishmai. One raya was, if somebody says gives a gift, not a divorce. If I don't come in 12 months, and he died, or the Gemara says, or he's sick, or din chola, if he died, does not consider oinus. Sholi chola, that's like wadin, it's like a kavachoyim kind of, that he died within the 12 months, or he became sick and didn't come. The Gemara, the Mishnah says, the Braisa says it's a get. So you see, oinus doesn't apply. Same thing is, the Gemara says, somebody says, if I don't come in 30 days, it'll be a get. And the boat stopped them. And it says, as Shmuel said, still divorce. We see those two cases, oinus doesn't apply. The Gemara pushes us off, and those two cases, two different answers. In the case of if he died, the Gemara says, I don't care about an oinus. The Gemara says, no, really, I do care about an oinus. But here, he wanted to get to be a get because he didn't want his wife to fall by his brother who had no children. Gabayova. What does that mean? But oinus, it's there. The oinus is there. So it's not considered I didn't fulfill. What do you say? My das was the mechayiv. Even though oinus, whatever we're going to explain oinus, that the mice is not miyaches to you, but das overcome. Again, let's also the same case. That last case, second case I brought. He says, I don't come in 30 days, will be a get. And the boat stopped me. The Gemara answers, no. It's not because oinus doesn't apply. Oinus does apply, which means oinus doesn't make as if I didn't come. Oinus should say, I didn't come. It's not because I didn't come. Oinus, which means not considered not fulfilling the condition. But there was a type of oinus that shriach, that you was a pshir, and you obligate yourself. The case, you should have made the condition, you should have excluded if it's included the condition, which was an umdana. And both terutzim, the Gemara answered, I have an umdana that he wants to get, and such an oinus. It's in for some other reason. With a shriach, or because he doesn't want to fall kapiyoma. What do you mean? But if oinus, the mice is not mine, when he jumping to the solutions of the Blikashmon, etc. That the oinus does not misyaches to me, but still. So if somebody says, what do you have to come on of umdana das? Because umdana das always can mechayev. I don't need to come to the parsha of oinus when I have das. More than that, even if the mice is not beget to me, I can mechayev myself. I want to get to be again. That's right. That's the Gemara's answer. The Gemara says, oinus. But here, he wanted to include oinus. What means yes, oinus? The mice is not connected. Oh, great. But all those tirutzim doesn't help by me because he wants it. So really, that's the beginning point of the sugi. When I have das, supply. We have places we have Rashi. Again, there's two answers in the last two cases. Well, I don't. I know the answer. Then you have a shayla. Yeah, sure. How can we solve it? See, we say we learn from there that when you don't know, when you don't know, you don't know. How suddenly you don't know the players that tell you what is that? My pastor tells you even though you don't know it's das, there's somehow exemption when it's a reality of holiness. That's the big Shmuel. That's a Chaim Halevi. That's the Chimta Shlomo that I don't miyakes by holiness. I don't relate the action to the person who did it. That's where it jumps in. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. That's the Makor of Rashi. So we want to say yes, one you say both. I can't hear once in what? Right. Good. But that's the case of Yovam or possible that is Poishayas. We said that's what he wanted. The Mezoinos or Tanai of Gitin, stam of sickness. So I don't know is das. The Gemara says oines. Oines comes in, which means he says oines. We don't know. Yesh oines begiti means yesh means the case that the first Rabbi didn't know, and Mitoraisi held, we do know. The Rabbi knocked it out. Some Rabbi know. The Rabbi is in, which with the Rabbi we do. Mitoraisi and there's no the Rabbi. It's in. What do you mean in? In that we say that's his das. Like by the case of Yovam, the case of Mevro that he should have made condition. That's clear. We talk about the unclear. Then we have a machlokes and unclear what really is his das. Rabbi says, "Midoraisa, I know his das." Rabbanon knocked it out. The other Rabbi says, "Midoraisa, every Rabbanon, I know his das." That's the sugya. I know. When I don't know, now she says, "I learned from." That teaches me. What I know is das. Okay, he said, always come. I don't know. Only this will teach me. This is really the beginning sugya, the beginning point of the sugya. So let's see now inside the papers, please. Let's see the Rashash. We have the Rashash, we have the Maharit. But before we see the Rashash, in page 2, I want to read the Gemara in the Dorim. Okay? Gemara in the Dorim. Gemara in the Dorim. And the Rashash Kasha. What the depths of the Rashash Kasha. What is the Maharit's answer, his solution? Another solution. And then I want to go on, Bezrat Hashem shall give us the time, to go on the concept of what is really oinus. How do you define oinus? By negative and by positive. Those are really the parts we want to start going into. We cannot. But by Yisurim normally, I would say it's exemption of punishment. But here is not Yisurim. Gita is not Yisurim. Because I'm not talking about the get itself. I'm talking about the condition of making of the deed. Result, it's okay. But the subject matter is the condition, what I meant. It's a humanitarian condition. He made a condition, not the Torah. And Yisurim. He's free will to divorce, not divorce. He made a condition. So the question of now, what's the subject matter in court? What he meant? He wanted to divorce. He doesn't want to divorce. So the question if he filled the condition he wanted or not. It's a shaila of what he meant. Not a shaila of Yisurim here. If the Maharit brings an example, I'll give you an example. If somebody makes a shvur, he's not going to eat this piece of bread, and he eats it, and pause. So then you have a shaila of a punishment. Ma'isa b'shvur, that's another, but without other b'shvur. The oines, this ma'isa, the oines is considered ma'isa not a chayav. So you have a tunas b'shvur. Oines, I don't need to learn from oines of oines shvur v'lo oines. I don't need to learn ma'isa overall. But in places where I don't have that, I do need to learn. That's in a Maisa Isu. He is not a Maisa Isu. He gave a get in his own free will. He made a condition. And you want to know that condition that he wanted is fulfilled or not fulfilled by oinus. And then after estimate, strong oinus, pshia is definitely in, strong oinus is definitely out. Some which I don't know. So then oinus still. Why is oinus still? I don't know. Because I found that the oinus works. So what? How does it work? It needs an explanation. What? I do. When there is a kli umdana, I follow umdana. Yes. No, because the answer is umdana. I'm satisfied. Yes, I said there I don't have to come into the sugya. What the Gemara pushes off. Really, yes, oinus begitas is not a raya. That's a separate machloikis. Here, I have an umdana that he doesn't want to believe the kabeyavam. I know that he wanted to make the get when passing more because it's pshia. Avilat nuis, he wants it. He wants to be a get. So those cases I have an umdana, I don't know what he meant. But where I don't know. But it's oinus. Because I do know. Or is machia? In case you don't know, you do know. Or he says afapid, I don't know. I found oinus in the Torah. So the fact of that's what he meant. The fact of the oinus somehow solves it. How? We have to see. So now let's see what the Achronim say. There's two avenues. There's the Marit, which is really the Ran Shita, and Rashi, which is Reb Chaim Alevi's world and others. Okay? There's two avenues how to solve it. Or I just said that myself. Is it I say Rov is Machia, in the case we don't know Shkech or Shkech is Machia, that we do know it's Oines, and he never meant it's considered Oines out of the box. But I know for sure that it's in, like on the Shchiach, Paskim Evroy is it's in. When it's totally Oines or Shchiach, even the other of even the first of it agrees it's in. When it's not clear, it's a shayla, it's in or not. Mitorais it's in. What is in means umdanatas. That he meant no, or not. But it's all in umdana world. But Rashi suddenly made another shoot. He said, well, I don't know. Is das. So it's not like here because I have a McCoy. That oinus exempts you. Oinus is a tinus onsi. When I have an oinus, I'm going to what is this magic? So it makes a decision that when the rabbis don't know, the look in the Torah and the rape of a girl that was raped, that she has a claim of oinus. Here we don't know if oinus in conditioned men is machia, is das. How oinus that exists by now is machia the das here. But this oinus that we don't know what he meant. It's nothing to do with it. Okay, but you don't know. We think that I learned by the Torah to think that oinus is out. Good. But when I don't know if it's oinus, such an oinus is out and in. So what it is. Right. Oh.
And telling us how to think that onus is a good excuse.
It overrides the umdana.
Exactly, that's the point. If you want to say that that's what the Torah meant, they learned from the Torah, yes. But Rashi says, "Matzinu tainas onus in the Torah." We found a tainas on the Torah, therefore she has a tainas onus. You want to say, Matzinu tainas on the Torah? I actually like what you say. I'm not doing it totally. I'm saying it's definitely not the pashas of Rashi. You want to say pshat and Rashi? Matzinu tainas onus in the Torah means that since we found such a tainas onus, now we don't know if this oinus I meant to bring in or out. People who know that oinus exists, it was a taina. So here we say it's out of it, but we don't know it's out. That itself was the question on the table. So how can people make an association that since I don't need that association, more than that, I know that oinus loishchiach is an umdana is out. Yet there's not enough for you to make when you don't know to make what I think. So what if they added? That's a knockout to your small. That's a knockout. Again. Very good. That's why all the Achronim never use your svara. To say your svara, why is wrong? Why Chaim Alevi and everybody didn't say what you said? Because why Rashi needs to bring a raya of a concept of oinus when I have umdana? Because everybody agrees that tainas oinus or shchiach totally the umdana is out. So you should say since oinus is an umdana, when I have umdana the muchach is out, so people think about umdana the muchach. So what I bring you a case of umdana muchach of oinus of raping a girl. Good. It's another place where the menucha is exemption of punishment, and maybe Tainas other, but what does it do with us when I don't have something? What are you adding, not adding anymore? If Rashi brings a case in the Torah, and there it's under the menucha, and there's a question, not a Taina, there's a shaila of Tum Oynish, what does it do with us? You understand? And what Rashi gained by bringing this source seems to be that when you don't know and you don't have an umdana, somehow holiness will exempt it. They say how? Because the most that's an answer. That's why they don't usually answer. If you answer, I don't need Nara Moshe to teach me that how people think. I can think under the Mucha can teach you what I think. And that's Svogel Amelikro. I don't need the Torah. Common sense. Umdana is a common sense. I don't need the Torah. Yes, Reb Shlomo. Yes.
What did he show you? What did he show you?
Ran. The Ran says Umdana. Umdana.
And this Gemara.
And another Gemara we'll see in Git in a second. They say Midoraisa there, and the Ran learns from Midoraisa. We'll see soon in Git in the Dorim, and he learns from Midoraisa Umdana. Umdana. That's what it means with the Torah. No. Yes. We'll see. That's what we're going to learn. You have the Mari that learns the Lashon Mushal. That's in the Gemara, not Rashi. He learns the Umdanas. And you have some of this Rashi seems to be an Umdana. It's a din. Christian, what's din it is? Yes, Rabbi.
It's the Tainus, or it's not, or it's a Taina. You see.
What does Taina mean? Taina means what? How Taina accept me?
Taina is shy to be considered in the Shikul and Dutch of the rabbi. It's tiny. You can't just say if you have a Taina, then it's relevant. The Taina has to be considered. Whatever the Taina is, you have to evaluate the Taina. Yes, no.
Right, very good.
But you have to
So now that you have a Taina, how do you value and make a decision of Taina? I don't need the Torah. I don't need the Torah to tell me there's a Taina because there's onshi. I need Umdana to show Taina. I'm answering. You don't listen what I'm answering. It's very deep. I said I don't need the world of Taina from Naira Moiroso. Other Rabbanamos not necessarily it's a Taina. It could be just exemption of punishment. Where I find Taina's oinus, not in there. I found Taina's Umdanas. That's a Taina. I'm told that I'm poor because I have an Umdana. So why you should bring in Umdanas? Other Rabban. So what is it? What is it? So that's what I said. That's a Chaim Alein. It's not a Umdana. It's a Taina. What's a Taina? What it does? We'll see in a second.
No, we have to know what the core of the Taina.
But it cannot be the Taina makes an Umdana. The Umdana is a reality. And not only that, the fact I found Tainas, so as I can find many Tainas, also by Umdana can find Tainas. And the decision of basiness depends on them, on Umdanas. So time doesn't help, doesn't help. Unless you say the Taina of Oinus that we learned from Oinus of Nairo somehow changes the case here, even though I don't determine there's no Umdanas. Good, you got it. That's why I said, Machois Rishonim is an Umdana, or somehow the Taina of Oinus, even though I have an Umdana, makes a change here. Now, we'll see in a second. Yes.
Maybe she's lying.
How the Bezin know? What happened there? 2 Eidim saw that she lived with a guy in the field. We don't know if she wanted it or she was raped. Yeah, but for Bezin, they don't know. It's a question of punch killing her. Bezin don't know.
No, it's not a Taina.
No. I know it was only him. But her is not. She's not the subject. Bezin needs to know the determined to decide upon a Taina. She makes a claim. She was raped. How did Bezin know? Moses accept her claim there because they assumed there was rape. But here, he claims here. Yes, he claims, no? So there, we accept her claim because we have an Umdana. That's what happened. Here, when he claimed on us, we accept because of the Umdana. Right? That's what he's saying. So I don't need the Oinus to teach me that. But I don't, one second, let's say what you said. A woman was raped. Two Adim saw a woman who was probated in the field. We don't know if it was rape or free will. She claimed was rape. Beis believes her because there's an umdana that in the field probably she shouted, nobody helped her. Like somebody killing someone. Okay. So now we believe her claim because of oinus. That I don't need the Torah to teach me that. Because it's the same, there's only a question of punishment. She's responsible of the oinus of the maiso, she's not responsible. But to know if somebody made a condition and he has a claim that was oinus, his claim was oinus, and he brings a proof. Here, there's not a question, nobody doubt if he was sick or he died, or there was whatever the oinus happened. We're not doubting that the oinus what happened. There we doubting if it was oinus or not. Here, there's no doubt his claim, it was oinus. His claim of oinus, we don't doubt that happened. Definitely was oinus. That in reality happened. We know that. There's aiding for that. The question is, does it help? It's innocent, innocent condition to obligate himself or not? How do we learn that from the story of a woman who's been raped? There's a shaila if that reality when this happened or not. And the rabbis say it's that all happened, she's out. We don't kill her. And here, we don't know his reality. So how do we determine when I don't know because I found oinus there, oinus here? Who says? Oh, so it seems to be time means the chacham mekabel it. So there I mekabel because there's an umdana here. I don't know. So where's the umdana? Elam without an umdana and the stuff I do mekabel how? Because there I mekabel, there I mekabel. Because an umdana here I don't know how I mekabel. So the question is, why? How can Rashi learn from there to here when there I can mekabel or taina because there's an umdana that was in the field that she was raped? Here you don't know. Now we don't know. We know the reality, but we don't know if this oinus meant it's part of it or not. The different shaylas, no limud. 1 second, he didn't finish this. What do you want to ask? Well, I can't hear. Why not? Oh. We somehow bypass the umdana. That's it, Rashi. Seems to be from Rashi, you got the point. Seems to be from Rashi that although we don't have an umdana, only somehow will accept. Because look on Rashi carefully what Rashi says. Matzinu batoiro, matzinu yeshtainas oinus batoiro. That's what Rashi says. Yeah, you're right. But we're not learning the umdana part. We're learning we found tainas oinus. So when there's a tainas oinus, even though there's umdana, we don't care about the umdana. We erased umdana. We just learned tainas oinus, and somehow we learn fear. The shaylas happen. There it's an umdana, and here I don't have the umdana, so it's a limud. So today we're gonna have two rabbits. We erase Rashi, we learn the Ran that I have an umdana, and that I don't need to learn from there. Yeah, that's the Marit. And the other way is we learn from oinus that the mice is the misiach is there. And Chacham Magdir, when a woman was raped and there's an umdana that she was raped, why she's exempt from death? Not because there's no punishment, because I don't relate the act to her. Now we have to learn exactly what it means. That's the two ways that it's up. But let's see. Time is late. Yes, Rabbi.
We asked this guy, what happened? He's sick. He said, I don't want to get to you yet. He's sick. He didn't came after 12 minutes or 30 minutes. He was sick in the middle.
Yes.
So then we asked him, well, do you want get?
Yes.
He said, no, I don't want to get.
Right. We don't know. Maybe he's right now. Right now doesn't mean anything. Which what he meant then. Because now he can change. He hated her, got to fight. What's in the world? We don't know. We don't know now then. But we need to know what he meant then, not now. So we have to have the normal rules of proofs of his das then. That's not the proof. No. And we don't know. We don't know. That's what mean we don't know. That's what it means. His claim is still don't know. You have to use our seichel in such a situation. What he meant then? Not he's dictating. He's dictating. He wants to do whatever he wants now. He already did a mice, and he did a mice, and he made it tonight then. What he meant then? That's what I have to determine. Not what he says now. Yes.
Rashi
He claimed that that's what he meant then. Yes.
The point is that Rashi's telling you that you have a source that there is such a, it's shy to take a tiny as a consideration to understand what happened, as opposed you can't take a tiny. You say you can take a tiny. You say that's a report. You know that a tiny is shy to consider it when you make the decision what to do.
And I don't need a learning
Yes,
from it.
yes.
I don't need, that's the whole beginning share. I start, when I make a condition, I sell you my house with condition. I give you rights to pass through my property with condition. You heard those people? They say with condition. Now, you have a condition and you have an oinus. Well, let me finish. There was oinus like all different conditions. So I need a limud that a tainas oinus, a question of what I meant. It's a question of dinner moment, as in the knowing what I meant. Yes. What? Then it is. Umdana means it's what believe a chodom. Not umdana is only between Shabbat. That's the marit. So the marit. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm telling him. As tiny, it's just a question based on us to determine is tiny as umdana. Right? That's what I'm saying. He doesn't answer. So I didn't get the point. What do you want to say?
Tiny is shy.
I don't need to prove the tiny is shy. I don't need to prove it.
Why not? But you're right, you know, but you're extracted, you know.
The law of Toin Benitan has not been learning from there. When you heard about Shulchan Toin Benitan, there is a law called Toin Benitan. 1 second. There's another section in Ilfois. I'm answering you. The laws of Toin Benitan, the power of Taina, is not being learned from there. I don't need to learn from there. It's a general rule, Tainas. And Oinus, it's just a raya for his Taina. But even if it's oinus, doesn't mean anything. You have tainas on. It's good. The question is, that tainas is meant to you obligate yourself or not obligate. Has to come out in the end to my will. What I meant then, what are my conditions? My will is a humanitarian will. That was the whole beginning point. Okay. It's not even male, it's an essence. It's an essence. Monetary thing is an essence between people. Yes, it is.
No, it's shy and tiny.
Taina, I don't, the shaila is not taina here. The shaila is what I meant.
No,
You can claim what you want. And I need to learn the laws of taina from there. I don't need there to teach me taina soinus.
It's shy and tiny.
You're fine. I'm showing my Aveda. He says onsi, taina onsi. No, I get in many places taina onsi. I don't need learn that they can claim taina. Tainas can I accept in his task. Based on accept that's what he meant on that. And the end comes to me. What I meant, I'll get my son in, I'll get my son. No, you don't know my answer yet. We didn't pull the rabbit yet. 1 second. We asked the questions and we didn't give an answer. I just gave a general answer. We'll see and determine the language. Let's see. Okay. Before we give an answer, you have to read the Gemara in Nedorim. Time is limited, so please bear with me. We have to see the Gemara in Nedorim. We have to see the Marit, Ran, which is Marit and Ran, the same line. And Bezrat Hashem, how we're going to answer Rashi, we're going to see the other opinions. Let's see, and how we read the Rashi. What's the question?
You have to answer. You have to answer a question. What's the question?
The question is, if Rashi brings the Makoyer, the Neshoi is begitin from Lanar Lotasadovo, that the Tainas Oines, what I need a Makoyer like that? It's a Shaila Vumdana. I don't need a Makoyer. And how can the Makoyer solve the question what he meant? How?
Why he needs to say that.
Why he needs a Makoyer and how the Makoyer solves the I'll doubt it. That's all. That's a simple question. It's not my question. The Ashash is the Mari, the Kovichuri, everybody asks this question. What's the answer? So let's see. Nidronsim, the Mishnah says, I'm going to glance it through quickly because our time is limited. If somebody made a vow, if you don't eat by me, you're going to be prohibited. And his son was sick, he was sick, the river stopped him from coming. The vow is not valid because it's oinus. Again, he made a vow. If you don't come to eat by me tomorrow afternoon, you cannot enjoy me. A vow. And he couldn't come because he was sick, his son is sick, or a river prevented him. The vow doesn't apply because it's not considered he didn't come to eat because he was oinus. The Gemara says a story, Ahu Gavra. The Adpis Achvose Beidin, somebody deposit his rights in shtar in court. And he said, Roma, if I don't come in 30 days, I lose my rights in the stores, in the documents. The Eidnis will also, he was forced, he didn't come. What happened? What's the law? What's the case? Somebody came to court, he gave stories that has written in his rights. And he said, if I don't come in 30 days, I'm losing my rights. And he was forced. He didn't come. He lost his rights. Even though he's oines, I don't care. He didn't come, he didn't come. Here, right over, forget about Rashi, we have a Gemara. The Gemara adopts the concept of don't punish the girl, the engaged girl, don't kill her, because she was raped, oines. And therefore we see oines works. Oines, Rachmana Patra, oines the Torah, Rachmana means the Torah. The merciful one is Hashem. The Moshe Hashem accepts. So how can you say if somebody didn't come to the meal? The vow doesn't apply if it was forced. Or the guy didn't come, he says, I'm losing my rights if I don't come. Right? I'm losing my rights if I don't come, and he was oines, he didn't come. So Avuna says, he didn't come, we don't care about oines. Not true, he says oines. The Torah says oines is exempt. And if you want to say that's death, exemption of death. And more than that, let's see Rashi for a second. Page 4, page 3 on top. Rashi says, 2 lines on the beginning of Rashi in page 3. By killing the Torah at mercy on her. When she's forced. But other onsim, the Lekri V'Ktola, there's no obligation of killing, but Mifto Mishumaynes, oines doesn't exempt. So Rav himself is asking this question. So how can you learn, if you ask on me, how can I use the oines of a raped woman? A woman that was engaged was raped. The Torah doesn't punish her, that's killing. The Torah had mercy on her, not to kill her, which she was oines. But how do you know if somebody doesn't come, a vow doesn't take an effect? My condition of vow doesn't take an effect. But now we see clearly in the Mishnah. All the answers we see in the Mishnah. Our Mishnah is a proof. I made a vow. If you don't eat by me, you're going to be vowed. He was sick, or his son was sick, or river prevented him from coming, was an oines. I don't need the onsim. Onsim is not considered that I didn't fulfill the condition. So Rabbi says, you're right. You have a chiluk, and I found a Mishnah. Again, what the Gemara is really saying. I have a case, somebody deposit a document, a shtar in court, and he says, I don't come in 30 days, I lose my rights in this document. And he was forced, and didn't come. Avuna says, you didn't come. You lost your rights. Rabbi says, it's oines. It's not kissing not coming. Oines, Rachmana Patra, like we see by a girl. It's death there. But I have a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, when I made a condition on vow, if you don't come, if you don't eat with me tomorrow, you're going to have a vow, and you didn't come in oines. The oines, it's not considered that you fulfill my condition of the vow, that if you don't come, be a vow, you couldn't come because of oines, that cannot consider not coming. So see what we see oines works with condition by nedoim, so it should be also by money that I lose if I didn't come. Because of oines, I didn't lose my rights in the document. Yes. The question is, a lot of questions to think about. You made a dimyon. Very good. Now we have a couple of questions in this Gemara. When you read this Gemara, what the Gemara's answer? The makor of Rava of oines stays on the Dova, or he says, no, I have a Mishnah, it's the Rabbanon. Again, what is he asking? I found a Mishnah, even though on the Torah of Akash, I found a Mishnah. Who are really saying the Mishnah proves that the chiluk's not a chiluk. He doesn't explain what's the chiluk. Why is that a chiluk? Again, and on that I have 2 options. In this side I have 2 options. Again, there's 3 options how to read this Gemara. 3 options. 3 opciones. 3 options. One option is, from the Torah's no raya, I have a raya from Mishnah from Chacham. Second pshat is that he's saying no. Chacham proves that the chiluk he made It's not a chiluk. So it's really Doraisa. I have a kasha. Chachamim had an answer. He doesn't read what's the answer. And then he says, you're right, I don't know the answer. But this is Kapolo. From Chacham we see that a Kapolo, that this is the truth. Like we brought the Yerushalmi in Peah. In the Sugya and Gita, you guys remember. Yerushalmi says, anywhere we found a halacha that has been agreed on the Mishnayos, but we don't have a Mekoyin, it's a halacha of Sinai. So Rava says, you're right, you have a chiluk, but we have a tradition that the chiluk, although the chiluk, that's the tradition of the rabbis, the way they learn the Torah. The teaches me pshat in the Torah. So again, what's rabbinic? What's the Raisa, and he has a chiluk, that the chiluk is wrong. The chiluk of Tana is not a good chiluk. Somehow he didn't reveal what's the chiluk. Oh no, you have a chiluk, but it means that's only one way to read it. But we have a tradition that this halach has only also been learned, even you know you have a chiluk. It's a halach, that's that chachom mekabel to learn like this in the Torah. Big enough community. Every sign I said he is a big enough community. Big enough in the whole longest of our suit. The first is the rabbinic. Not the Mekoy is not that Tosodoho. Because Ktola Shiny, we found a Mishnah that did the Rabbanon. Chachami made this deal. It's very strange. In humanitarian conditions, there's no rabbinic. Unless Chacham say that you have an umdana, so you have a keragation because it's that because this oinus with level of oinus. Shkiach, what shkiach? Well, if you don't know, so we don't have the Chachamim. He's sick, his son's sick. River is part of umdana the shkiach. You saw Paskin Mevro is umdana the shkiach. So 1 second. So Rava brings down, it's not really allowed to Sodoma, it's umdana the shkiach. Sick, but that's the sick of the Torah. The Mishnah spelled this, the Oinsim is sick, his son's sick, and Pazero. But the case of Ravuna doesn't say how he was Oinus. He didn't come to Beis after 30 days for his star. He lost his star. Which Oisnis? Doesn't say which Oinus. Must be the Gemara made a dinyo. They knew it's the same type of Oinus of sick. His sick is the same way. Dinyo. So does Rava answers go to the Maskana. And I've arrived at Mishnah that such an oines, I assume an umdana that it's in, which means he says, you don't need a posuk, because the posuk is Ktola. I have arrived at Mishnah as an umdana that it's in. But it's still the world of umdana. That's the Ran. The Ran learned this Gemara. Look in the Ran. The Ran is in page 5. That's where he learns the Gemara. I read the Ran. Floima. The Mamokan Ktoli. אין לו טעם לעשות אבל מידי הכינו לו נתנה נדרונצים, הרי אין לו נדרונצים, לפי שלא עולה עליו מה דילדירוי אם יהיה לו כך. He never had in mind to make a vow if he was sick or his son is sick or whatever. And I'm not discussing, so here he says, I'm going to lose my rights, and he was sick. He never had in mind to lose his rights, such a case. It's a question of mind. So according to the Ram, the Maskonas HaGemara is what? That we in the world of umdiness. So what does all of it mean? It means I don't really need Lanairo, because Anayat Tosadova is not a good McCoy, because that's exemption of punishment. Here, it's umdina. So if I would say, yes, Oines Begiti Midoraisa, but the Rabbanot Snuas, and there's one opinion that there's Aaron because the rabbis threw it out. And Midoraisa, could everyone there's Oines. Why is Oines? Because with umdina, sometimes there's Uda the Mukhar is out, but it's an Uda that is never meant to happen. Once again, by a case of by the case of Skemevro, they would say there's an oinus with Pshia. Says no machlek is not a umdana. When it's Shel Shliach, the Gemara had a doubt. Here there's oinus on Akotava, which means maybe such an oinus is not an umdana, or maybe he's an umdana. But it's only about umdana, not umdana. But I would learn that Gemara in the Maskana, there's no Mekur of Lanairo, because I throw it out, and I learned from the Mishnah that it's umdana like the Ran learns. Now I'll show you the same thing. Yes, oinus, but you know it's a child if I umdana or not. And the Gemara maskon midoraisa dvarim umdana b'derabon and shad chacham mafkia. Midoraisa because such oinus is under the limit of yourself. That's the one in the Gemara. But if Rashi by us, school brings a puzzle under the Gemara and knocked it out. Must be learns two options. Un momento. Well, they have Masoiris from the Torah from Sinai, but somehow, although there's such a chiluk, but they have Masoiris, that's a Torah meant. And from Moshe Rabbeinu, that's a Torah meant. Although you can, if you read the Torah as face value, make a chiluk. But we have Masoiris that's not true. We have a way to knock out that chiluk. We have a way, as I understood, there's a way to knock out this chiluk. They have an answer to this chiluk. So we'll see soon. Take a rabbit. We'll find a chiluk. The word about that rabbit. Let's see it. Let's see. Now we're ready. Same. Both is knowing. So the Marit, the time is late and short. So I would say right away the Marit, which I saw already the Marit is the same. I'm going to read here the Marit. The Marit is on page 3. And then we're going to learn the other option, then we have to come back really how he answers Rashi. The Chemda Shloima starts, of Chaim Alevi, Chemda Shloima, the Kashmuel's world. Now we have to start marching the next week with Hashem. We're going to print out the Kashmuel's and Chemda Shloima. We have to look at Chaim Alevi inside. We have to march in already to that world. And we have to make a value decision. What is the best way to read? Can we have proof? Or is Machlokes Rishonim, Rashi against the Ran? Okay, let's see. Comes the Maharit and he says, don't make a mistake of the Gemara saying, unless the Torah exempt you like by engaged girl. And it doesn't. It's only a phrase. It's not literally. There's not a difference for us than it's not a shayla proven, not proven. Don't say Oina is somehow exempt. Has nothing to do with the world of Umdana Muchach, not Muchach. The Koma of Oina is Hamon Parach. It's in the Mayo. The more important apostle. Bechitei Mektola Shiny. Atoni Cholo Mashma. The time of the Maslish who don't Hamon Patre. If you read the language, simply means the Torah exempt you. He learns that when Robert Porter arrived from a Mishnah, he says, I have a Mishnah. You see, that's Chazal. That's the way Chazal learned. And I had a tradition that this chinuv aktan is wrong. He says, don't learn like that. Why? He said. Why? When the Torah exempt this girl, this Naram also from punishment of killing, is from an oinish, from punishment. Somebody took an oath not to eat bread, and he ate it by force. I go now, but I'm going to exempt me oinish from punishment. Similar to the first, now there's a punishment, we exempt. Aval beneder al tnai, when if I am condition is a humanitarian agreement, my decision. And then as well, no, he was forced and he went over in his condition. Whatever he had in his heart is nothing. The dinner takes the effect nicely. All the Koma Ktola shiny. So what the Gemara meant to say, maybe it's different Ktola here. And when we never meant oinus of the Torah. If oinus, it's a buzzword, it doesn't want to patre like by Naramos, it's just a buzzword, but really doesn't mean that means umtana. So what's the chiluk? That's death. We never talked about real limud. It was only umtana. Vot nan v'ochi koma. The lo'om word havad elosa miktole. Says no. Maybe when we say oines, maybe oines when Ramapan only by ktola. And the Gemara says not true. The law of the time shum oines. The Gemara says however many was that the exemption is oines. Moses says no, that's punishment. So he himself, even this Mahalach has to learn that in the Maskon the Gemara changed. The law of the time is shumoines. The lo nemar lebetnai. You talk about condition. אפילו חיפותם שהוא חזוק כדי לילות על דסקי. אם כן, אוכנמי במבשי שטורס לא ישון. Stop. He said, I don't need a puzzle. He says, the Havamina was that holiness somehow exempts you, even not the word punishment, exempt you from actions. It's fulfillment of condition. The Lord says, no. It's only Rachmone Pate from holiness. Here, I have I found a bishop that it's that cholo and oiness, normal oiness of sick, his son sick, a river preventing, it's oiness, and therefore we say we have a chazoko. You had a doubt what he meant is actually not unclear oiness. We have a chazoko that is part of the mind. Chazoko no that it's chazoko that you didn't have in the such. The same thing is I gave my rights to court. Kiddush, I won't come in 30 days, and I was oiness. It's chazoko that I meant not to lose my rights. So it's a question of basically the Marit learns the Maskone was the Avami. That's where the Marit is weak. When he learns the Maskone is out, don't do it on because on is only exempt of punishment. Here it's oinus, it's just a matter of a proof that that's what he meant at night. Included night, not included night. This is the Marit. What is the other way but doesn't fit in Rashi? So the other way they say like this. The other way is as follows, you can see here. The other way to read the Gemara. So it's best one who writes it best, I see, is the Kovet Shurim. Okay? Kovet Shurim is at page 3 or 4. Page 4, right? Page 4, yes, what do you want to say, Abdul? Correct. So all our Gemara is, yes or no, which means there's no machloikes when there's a clearness. When unclear, where a machloikes, does the rabbi knock that out? It's in. But it's all in Umdan Das. But Rashi doesn't fit. Rashi didn't like that. Rashi said, the Makoir is the last of the Dovo. So you can't say Rashi is just to use a buzzword. When Rashi tells you, what's the Makoir of that? Gemara can say buzzword. But Gemara, there's a machloikes like Rabbi Shas Cohen used to say, that machloikes Rashi and Toysus always, you will see that Rashi follows the pashas of the Loshan, and Toysus has kashas on the Loshan, he follows the Svara. So he said in the name of Chaim Baloshin, there are two traditions. That tradition to Moshe, we see now that tradition, how the rabbis wrote the Gemara. They wrote the Gemara that the understanding will be very close to the words, even though the understanding is hard. Or they meant follow the understanding, even though it doesn't fit close to the words. I spoke in concept or in literal, the words totally teach you the concept. So like a tradition, that's what he meant. Whatever it is. Yes.
Because it seems like they knocked out Katalashan. We said Bahatman.
They reject. But now we say it's not a chiluk. But still you can say two options. Not a chiluk, which means they have a lochsham Sinai that it works. Then what? Then oinus work what? To be enough that oinus works, and it's not a question of Umdan Das. Or they have a chiluk that don't say Ktolo Shiny, it's Afal PK in Umdana. So it says Umdas follows the world of Umdana. So the word pater normally pater means from oinish, but here pater means exempt you from your condition, from your chalois of t'nai of not coming. The word's a little bit hard, but we can answer. I want to answer that in the end if Hashem gives us the time. So I want to read the Kovet Shurim. He brings that svara of the Chemda Shloimo, Hamelevi, B'Kar Shmuel, because our time is short. It's very easy to see what he says. So he learns the Tzor Chloimer Das Rashi, third line from Aleph. The Maskonas Gemara the Maisim in the Ronsim the Mount Adrina Lekamais Mikro. So he learns that you have to say Rashi when the Gemara brought a Mishnah. The Gemara knocked out Ktole. You hear what you said, Beryl? The Gemara knocked out the Chil of Ktole and went back to the Posel. The Posel. Ubiika Adovo. What's Pshat? The Mikron Adovo Yalfinom the Lomeani Kimadai Boin. It's so needs an explanation. The Kogabeonchik, the question comes back. The Torah is talking about punishment. Then Manishi Mesoinus, you don't punish a rape. Umay Shaykh Zelocha, which I hear the Kiyuma Girush and Oinish Laban. fulfilling the condition, not a punishment to the husband, is what he agreed. I fulfill my condition, agree to divorce or not. It's not a punishment. It's a chloima. This, let's see what he says. Here's the rabbit. Here's the rabbit, guys. Where's the rabbit from the black hat? I'm reading third line from Hay. In the Kovetz Shuvim. So chloima kemoshekosa b'shum shutchem dashloim. The miracle from this verse that you don't kill the raped woman. Yalfidan we learn the maaseh, the action, anaasit that is being done, the oinus by force, eino nechsheves ala oise, is not considered one who does it, when we did it. Elo, here he jumps to another point, which in the other yeshiva I argued, but it's not now, not much time. Elo chashuva kilo nases melos, considered as if it's done by itself. It says two points. I think one point is enough, the other point creates trouble, like himself, he has tzorichim on that. But the first point that he says, that when somebody does a ma'aseh, an action by oinus, by force, he made a decision not to come. Okay? He didn't come. So that action was a negative action. That negative action not coming by force. Yes, one second. And we learn from the post, I'm reading again the words. Yalfino, we learn. The maaseh nasid boinus, an action that was done by force, eino nechsheves aloisa, is not considered that I did it. Doesn't relate to me. Elo, he jumps more. Not only doesn't relate to me, ela chashuva kilo nasas melo is considered as if it was done by itself. And he gets into trouble, this new piece. But the first part is that I don't consider, I don't meyachas, there's no yachas. Elo nechsheves, I don't consider the action to him, to the one who did it. So by oinus, she was raped, she was the competition. By killing, she was killed by force. By 12 months sick, she couldn't prepare herself. By ketloim, you were sick, dead, whatever it is, boat, the overflow of the river, no boat, traffic. So he didn't fulfill by force the condition not coming. Right. But he has to come, and he didn't come. So when I say it's a get, if I don't come, it's a get. So it's negative. If I'm not going to come, it's a get. Now what happened? I didn't come. So how I fulfill the condition? By me deciding, by new reality not coming. So that's called a negative. It's not considered not coming. Now, if I'm forced and I couldn't come, it's not considered not coming. If I didn't come, my own decision, I didn't come. That's my feeling, my condition. I was forced. It's not considered I fulfill my condition. I'm not coming in order to get to be again. So therefore, means the action or the decision or the reality of not coming, although it's not a physical action, it's a decision. Oinus makes that action or that virtual decision that not coming is not relating to me. The result of not coming doesn't relate to me by me deciding not to come because I was forced. And more of that, even if I did an action, let's say I bow down to Avodah Zarah by force. So the action by force doesn't relate to me. I don't get killed because that action of bowing to Avodah Zarah is not me. That action of it doesn't relate to me. That's an action. In our case, not an action. Our case was fulfillment of the condition not coming. So if I don't come, so where I fulfill the condition. If I was forced, so I don't relate my force to not coming. The result of not coming, I don't relate to me. And he answered it was done by itself. So now let's read Rashi again. Now we're ready for Rashi. What?
So it's not related to him, but related to him that he's called coming.
No, I don't consider that he came. I just said I don't have not coming. But to say as if he came, that's another world. Let's say he made a condition, it's a get if I come. And he was forced not to come, as if he came. The Gemara never said those cases. The Gemara only talked about negative. Do I say oines is command to loyovid? If I say oines, if it's more, is command to ovid. It's another shaila. No, that will be second part of the sugya. That will be next week. It's in the papers, the Kashmuel, the Yerushalmi, the whole world. That's the second sugya. The first part of the sugya is this point. So this we're going to read Rashi. I read Rashi Dav Gimel. The Medorai Sola Vegitom. From the Torah is not a get. Why Rashi says Shemotzinu Tainas Oines Minat Torah? I found a claim of Oines. What is I found? Where's the I found? Rashi doesn't say the Alfinon. Rebello. Rashi says the Alfinon. Doesn't say that. He says Shematzinu. We found Tainas Oines Minat Torah. We found a claim of Oines from the Torah. So one second. So let's think what happened by this girl. This girl was raped. She was part of a Kabbalah. She wasn't Kakoilam. The Eidim saw is not Kakoilam. She's not just sitting there. Because you have to come into Oinus and Rotzon. She's Kakoilam, anyhow was out. There's no Kako. They saw movement, they saw fighting, or they don't know it's fighting, or they don't know what is it. Part of it, they have a suffix. So say she claims Oinus, and I won't believe her. So then what happened? The Maisa said that she was doing the Maisa. She was part of the Maisa Pia. Not she was a Maisa. What we say that her Tainus Oinus, Matzinu Tainus of Torah, that her Tainus Oinus says that the Maisa that she was moving in part of the Maisa Pia is not a Maisa to Mechayeva, except Oinus.
To be equal result, not a mice. Wait to say the mice.
Again. Now she doesn't say we learn from Lanayla Tasadovo. Because we learn from there, we have a chiluk. There it's killing. There, the Torah says, don't kill the girl. Because she was forced. Right? Lanayla Tasadovo. Because if I learn from there, the subject matter there is it's Ktola. So if it's Ktola, maybe there, Torah's chas, who says anywhere else? No, I'm learning from the process. As I'm not learning from the case, I'm learning what the Torah said there. What the Torah said. She had a Maisa Bia. We don't know how to determine that Maisa Bia. Is it Maisa Bia berotzon or beoines? Her claim, that she claimed, what you saw me moving, that Maisa that I did, it's a Maisa beoines. Mimela, I don't punish her. That's a Mimela. But the process is that the Maisa she's done, she's marked here as a Tainus Oinus, Maisa of Oinus. She definitely says that she's in court. He says this, or he said that. You don't know. Tzaka means is the base of estimation. So, Shematzinu Tainus Oinus, we say like this, the way Rashi's learning that although there's a chiluk, definitely we have to say you can learn that you have two ways how to learn the puzzle. You can learn, forget about the Maisa, there's no Maisa involved. Like, for example, by somebody got killed. The Gemara, the Torah brings a dugma, like somebody, Retzicha, the Nirzach is definitely not part of the Maisa. So there, the opinion there, he's definitely fighting, wants not to be killed. Not part of the Maisa pulling the knife on him. He's already dead. The noise is only the one that killed. He's not part of the Maisa there. It's only Shaila that we want to punish him or not, or that we determine that was by force or not force. What do we make a dimion from Retzicha? That the woman had nowhere to save her, like a person being killed, there's no way out. No way out. So, Oinus, the level of Oinus of there, if somebody gets killed, there's no way to run. It's being the fact they got killed means he had no choice to run. Also here, even though they saw that she was part of the Maisa Bia, right? We say no, it's an oinus. And this Maisa Beer is not an oinus, it's not a berotz, it's oinus. We don't punish her. So the subject matter is on a Maisa. We'll see a Maisa, we don't know how to turn this Maisa. So we say that we define this Maisa of Tainas oinus. We may not exempt from punishment. So I have two ways how to learn it. The Torah subjects only the result of not punishing her, or the Torah says I magdir the Maisa that she was doing is not a Maisa that's mechayev her because it's oinus. So I relate to her claim. That's the demon. Shematzinu, if I talk about the results, the story, I cannot learn from there because there. The Torah accepted the Tainus oinus. The Torah accepted that Tainus. She claimed, my Maisa is not a Maisa berotz I deserve death. It's a Maisa beoinus. I don't need to deserve death. And that Maisa they saw, she wants to magdir it something else. So then, 1 second. So the Torah hears that. They believe her and they don't kill her. She can say because they don't kill her and they accepted the Tainus oinus and her defining a Maisa because they want to chas, they want to have mercy. Bezdin, because the Torah tells the Bezdin to listen to that. Don't talk about the Torah, it's written in the Torah. Torah tells the Bezdin to listen to her because maybe the Torah chas. Comes out, she says, I know that chiluk. He says, oh, I know that chiluk. He says, no, Achon says not a chiluk. Why? Because we're not talking about, we're not learning from there. We're learning that holiness can magdir her Maisa differently in her taina. Shematzinu, we found her claim. She says, I was right. You saw me on Maisa, and you magdir me the berotz was a Maisa before Chacham accept. Chacham could say, we have mercy on you. We don't want to kill you. But what she came to base and she claimed, she said, the Maisa you saw is Maisa b'oinus. So that's a subject matter. So this is what we learned. We found a Maisa. We found a Tainas oinus min HaTorah on a Maisa. So we'll see here, and how I marked it. She say, don't relate that to me. Don't relate that movement to me. And Chacham could be accepted not the killer. Who says, by Tatnoi, Chacham you learned no. Although there it's not killing, but the process, why did Chacham accept, why did the Torah accept not to kill? Because they accept her claim that the Maisa doesn't relate to her. Or say here, we learn that the Maisa doesn't relate to her. This is our governor. How the Chacham don't learn, know how to learn like this in the Torah. Maybe don't learn like that. Tradition. But that's how they magdir the Torah. This is what Rashi says. Shematzinu Tainus in the Torah that the Maisa doesn't relate to her. That's what we learn. So Ktol is not effect. How do we know Ktol is effect? Because Rava brought a proof. That's what Chazal learned. Or there are other proofs. It's at a Svore, Dimyon, whatever it is. This is the way they learn. If the Maisa doesn't relate, Ada Yesh's coin is also. Because the Torah says that even though it's nice to Me'elo, doesn't relate to still also. She's still also. It's a result. It's not a relationship. Not what her doing. Let's see, she's a raped woman. She's a second citizen. She's the second grade citizen. Reality. She has a pagam. The result is what separates her. It's not the rotzoin. It's not breaking the connection to the husband. It's not breaking the relation with her husband as a result. She's a used woman, she's a married woman, she's by somebody else, is out. What do you want to say? Like pagam. No, it's not umdana. No, maybe Chacham will determine because maybe the Torah told the Bezdin to determine to believe her because umdana. But forget about why to believe her. What's she claiming? And the Torah says is that so Chacham learned the latter Torah means listen to her claim, not because the Torah don't want to kill her what the Gemara's chelik was, maybe there we don't want to punish her. Oinus is a question of punishment. Says no. Rashi learns, Robert brings a guy from Mishnayos, that Chacham had a tradition, he learned the Torah, that Chacham say don't do nothing to her. Lanat don't do nothing to her, and what she did. Yeah, so we claim for her. The Taninos, and the claim is not necessarily she has to say enough verbal. That stands up for her. That's her rights. You don't claim, we bring a lawyer for you. Government pays a lawyer for you. Yeah, Poskim, we tiny elim. Somebody doesn't know. We know the Pesach Lloyd, the Gemara mentioned about Basra, that the elim you open his mouth for. It's possible. Yes. That's us. That's what Shematzin. We found that we're not learning. We understood that you can make a chiluk that's k'tol, but we found Tainus Oinus on a Maise. How do we say we found? So I understood that's her claim. The claim is it's not my Maise. You want to say it was Maise, but also it's not my Maise. It's I have a Tainus Oinus, not my Maise. Although Chachomim the Torah accepted it, and you can say the chiluk is k'tol, but Chachomim had a tradition. That's not the reason. Because her claim that it's not a mice has been accepted. The reason why Chachomim don't kill her, why the Torah doesn't kill her, not because they don't want to kill when somebody's forced. They accept her claim that wasn't a mice, that wasn't her mice. No, means they accept her claim. That's the way Chachom had tradition. That's how we read the Torah. The Bish. Shematzinu is Tainus Moines Salamin Torah that Maisa doesn't relate to her. We accept her claim that we're not a Maisa Berotzon, was a Maisa Beroines. It means we says don't kill me. It does not my Maisa. It's Maisa Berotzon. It's his Maisa. That's what we're doing anything for her.
Now he's a healthy man.
Yes.
Who say that he's gonna anyway come at the end of the 12 months? You're assuming that after that his health, because the Maisa is not like it, he will come. Who say that?
You don't care. Want to know that moment? That moment you didn't come was a decision not to come or was forced. So that force, how I defined it, I don't relate the decision not coming to him. That's all. We took it in. The last day came in. He was sick in the last day. Yeah, after 10 months later, 5 months. Okay. 1 second, we're not finished here. We have to still make a little bit more here and we're not finished with this. That 1 second. So we're really in the depths we're saying. Although mitzat umtana, what he meant, I don't know. But there's a kli, another vessel called oines, the reality of oines, which the Torah separates the Maisa from him. Could be, which means, I'll make it a bit deeper. If you know my wish, because I should have made conditions of how I meant to obligate. I don't want to full up Yovim. You know my wish. I wanted to get. If you know my wish, so that's don't you know my wish? No, my wish will not help. That's the Gemara's answer was. You can't separate the Maisa from him because he said even though you separate, I want to obligate myself. But an Oynish, which is not clear, I separate the Maisa from him. My question on this is, when you have a sifik, there's two sides. Maybe I want it, maybe I don't want it. If I wanted it, so even though you're separating the Maisa from me, but I still wanted it. So I'm too higher. And if I don't want it, so I don't want it. So what do you need this? Such a something. So somehow we say in a case where we stuck, we use this machinery of the Maisa is separated from me. But it's very hard. What does it help? The same way when the boat separates you, when the person that was sick and she will fall kabir, when we say, I still want it. So if you have a subject what I wanted, so maybe A, maybe B. Say if it's A, Oinus means you don't connect the Maisa to me. But still, maybe I want it. And if I don't want it, I don't want it. So even though you separate, so you don't need to come out to separate the Maisa. So what this add to Torah knowledge, how could this solve in a world of humanitarian condition? How This solves, we have to understand the depths here. We got the point with only Yach. It's good, great. The same way, once I'll explain my cash. The same way, if I know what he meant, oinus the shchiach, pasken mevro, or oinus, which I know that he wants us oinus to be considered not oinus because he doesn't want his wife to fall kaviyolam. So I know what he wants. So I say, although the action of not coming is not related to me, but I want it to relate to me. So say here, I don't know if I want, I know what he meant. If I want is in. So oinus won't help me. That's what I want. So you don't know, you have to say it's Zbogim Shabbalei. And when I have a service, Zbogim Shabbalei, what's wrong? In I'm doing. So therefore what? It's in. Comes the oinus and knocks it out. Okay. Very nice. La 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 la. What do you want to ask? Yes. Zalachayas. Where's the highest? That's there. Okay. Yes. That's misasing. But if she doesn't want, she doesn't want. Misasing is chaya, but not 901. So what are you mixing those waxes? That. Yes. But doesn't nera, doesn't misah. It's a big jump. It's a big jump. It's a big jump. Always the same points. So what's up about tonight? So okay. So I want people to continue on to the next piece that we mentioned. Oines command Ovid or command Ovid to see all the Shurim and the other Mefoshim we print on the page, and we print out also the Kashmul Simon base. What? In the same papers, yes. Deepen in the papers. We have Rosh Hashanah on one day. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we have a shir. Some Gedalia. You guys can come. If not, through the Zoom. I want to give a shir.
See, Ross, you had to find something, Ross. You couldn't
Right.
say all that.
Right. Couldn't say that the Meister really unless he found. Yes. Okay. Very good. That's the answer. Guys, I just want to explain the Loshan. I hate the Loshan. Okay. Most of us, I want to bring in my Rebbe's words of Torah, Ve'elu. I want to add to that a little bit. Very important word. Very important word. This is from Ramoshil Hirsch. Rosh Yeshiva Slabotka. He says, what is the avodah of Yemei HaSlichos? That's his title. Avodah Yemei HaSlichos. How do you prepare yourself for Rosh Hashanah? Through Slichos. So he says as follows. The Ramo in Orach Chaim Siman Taf Kuf Pei Aleph Sif Aleph says, we stand up early morning and we say Slichos on Sunday before Rosh Hashanah. But if Rosh Hashanah falls on Monday or Tuesday, like today, like out this year, so the Ramo says, then you start a week before. Like this year the Slichos is very long. You have a whole week plus 2 days. Why, the Ramo says? Because you need to say at least 4 days before Rosh Hashanah have to say Slichos. I was very makpid. I had to go yesterday and also today somewhere in the morning, early morning. I think my kids, my wife had something to do. I made a big effort. I said yesterday, yes, not today. Because how many days we have from today to Rosh Hashanah? How many days of Slichos we have? 4 more days. Let's see a second. So I didn't do it. I delayed. No, I was very narrow. My time was precious. I delayed it. I made an extra effort from today to be in Slichos. Why? The Kosav al Kacha Mishnabura. Mishnabura says, so Mishnabura is got involved here in Siman Taf Kuf Pei Aleph. Says, you know why the rabbis fix 4 days of Slichos? V'otam shekovu abayomim sheken matzilu b'korbanos. We found in sacrifices that you need to check the sacrifice 4 days before you bring the sacrifice, that there's no blemish. It's called Biko. We started now Zvochim, right? Zvochim you want to bring a korban, you have to check the animal 4 days before, and there's no blemish. Now, comes the Mishabur and he says something very strange. In all the parasha of korbanos of the holidays, the Torah use one language, and only by Rosh Hashanah the Torah use a different language. In all the korbanos, it says, "V'yikraftem oilo." You shall bring a sacrifice of elevated the sacrifice. U'b'Rosh Hashanah ksiv, you look at Parshas Minchos, and Rosh Hashanah is a different language. Not v'yikraftem, you should bring a sacrifice. Rather, asisem oilo. You should do an oilo. What do you mean you should do? Why the Torah change? You should do an elevate. You should have said, you should bring. What do you mean you should do? Where's the mindset? Bringing. Lelamed. This is to teach us, Chazal. It's Vayikra Rabba Parshas Emor. Chazal learned to teach us. Rosh Hashanah, Yasser Otam Hatzmoi. And Rosh Hashanah, a person needs to make himself. Ki'ilu Makivas Atzmoi. As if he's bringing himself as a sacrifice. As the Mishnah Berurah says, look, and that's why they fix at least 4 days. Why you can't so check all your blemish of your sin. The Lord show them and repent. You have 4 days to check your blemish to repent before Rosh Hashanah. That's easy. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean that Rosh Hashanah, a person has to bring himself as a sacrifice? That's easy. Not bring a sacrifice, do a sacrifice. What do you mean do? Yourself, bring yourself. I say bring yourself, what does that mean? What's give an explanation? What does that mean? What does that mean? You bring yourself as a sacrifice. This is what it says. What this means to us. What does it mean, Rosh Hashanah, I have to bring myself as a sacrifice? What does it mean? How do we translate that in our language? You have to bring yourself as a sacrifice. So it says in Gemara Rosh Hashanah. All this is my Rebbe, Rabbi Moshe Hirsch. He says, she lived long, Shlita. Omar Rabbi Abo. Lama toiki b'shofar shah. Why we blow the shofar on a shofar of a ram? Ayil. I think it's called a ram. Hashem said, Akash Baruch Hu, you should blow the shofar with a shofar that comes from a ram, Ayil. I will remember for you the sacrifice of carrying down of Yitzchak ben Avraham. And I consider it as if you sacrifice yourself in front of me. What do you mean to sacrifice yourself like Yitzchak? What does that mean? The Meiri, and Rosh Hashanah got designed. Listen to the language, the holy language of the Meiri. Even though in Rosh Hashanah you can blow any shofar you want, but we very makbid to be a ram, a shofar from a ram. Why? The language of Meiri. Through this, you're going to arouse the mercy of Hashem for Yitzchak. Now, I said mercy, I added it. It doesn't say mercy. It says she's that they means the Jewish people will arouse themselves for Akedas Yitzchak. And the people will recognize the boundaries. We will by blowing the shofar from a ram shofar, we will recognize boundaries of what? Love and fear. They could not get two words. As Hashem tells us, we'll see in a second, how much the gvul, boundaries of love and fear. And through this, because when the Jewish people see, they allows them to think, what do I need? Where's my boundaries? This reminds them to Yitzchak, what he did, he was willing to give his life. Avraham Avinu was willing to give his only son. And we think, when we are in our hearts, the allows me to see how much only within this is also the Nedish. I mean, maybe. הקדוש ברוך השם considers for them כאילו הם בעצם נולדו כמוהו. As if they themselves were as a sacrifice. Why? Because the Machshav HaTov, a good thought, הקדוש ברוך הוא מצרף על המעשה. Wow. And saying, so according to the meaning, means has to be Hashem. Yitzchak. I'm not there. But when I recognize how much, and I know that I want to do Hashem's will, what's preventing me is my physical body, but I know, I understand. It says we have Hinu. We understand the growth, the boundaries of how we are. Although maybe not there. Maybe you're there, was not Hashem. But you say, because I want to be there. Look, this is my, true. This is our symbol. We want to be part of that camp. This is the camp. We want to camp. That's our boundaries. I can't see it, Hashem. Hashem is Metzayev Machshov Lemais. There's a Medrash that says we bring the sacrifice. Shori Okeves Oez. Shori, why we bring Shori to the base, to the altar? B'schus Avraham. Keves is b'schus Yitzchak. The Chsiv Hayar Min Ha'ayil. Eis b'schus Yaakov. It says, that's Hoshnei Gdei easy. B'schus, why we bring a korban of Ayil in the base of Migdosh? B'schus of Yitzchak. What do you mean? Yitzchak did not bring the Ayil. Avraham Avinu was the one. Avraham Avinu saw an eye running, and he brought it as a sacrifice. Why the Ayil is the B'schus of Yitzchak? Because really, he was willing to do that. And Hashem says no. So Avraham was looking for a Tmurah. What does Tmurah mean? The exchange. So that Ayil that Avraham exchange is a sacrifice. Because with exchange of Yitzchak, I have the highest king of Hashem. And he gave his son to Hashem. So the Lord gave his son to Hashem, the Holy Son, 37 years old. And out of exchange of him, this was not the Schus of God, because the Korban is a Torah, Yitzchak, the Schus of God, holy, is a Torah, he gave his own sacrifice. Very, very important. This is all my Rebbe. Yes. So according to this, he explains, this is what it means in the Torah you should do, Leila. All the other sacrifices of the holidays you should bring, be crafted. Here you should do, you have to make yourself a pure. The livers are like Yitzchak Avinu. And here, we know the shofar of iron that we recognize represents our Judaism. Hashem wants us, where's the boundaries? Hashem wants us to give our life for him. That's Hashem. We'll give our life. This is boundaries. Of the boundaries Hashem requires from us. And they say, yes, we're in. I went in when Rabbi Akiva, and 120 years old, The Romans came and wanted to kill him. And he was happy. So his student asked him, why are you happy? Going to be killed. He says, all my life. He says, I saw is one. I said I wanted to die. I was coming to reality. I should be happy. All my life preparing. 4 days before Rosh Hashanah is a preparation for what? Like a korban. You have to prepare yourself, no blemish. What? In a level, according to the media, of how much every year I'm going to give myself a Rosh Hashanah. And I will add my words of my father. He said, what does it mean, Elul, the days of Rotzain? Rotzain is Ava. Because the Torah translates Yaakov Or, this Yosef Or means Rachamim. Rachamim means love. Which means we have to work on our love to Hashem. And what do? We do from Yom Teruah 100 tkiyos. 3 and 3, we don't know. Suddenly, boom, 100 before, 100 after. Every day, Yom Arano, Bezuto, we show the Chavurah Mitzvah of what? We want to make sure. Make sure to show our love of Chavurah Mitzvah of what? Chavurah Mitzvah. Because Chavurah Mitzvah means that this would give us an afchana, a recognition for the boundaries. How much we have to give shows our love and fear to Hashem. 60 to 90 to 100 years. We extend it like crazy. We go all that starting to show our love. Just coming up mitzvah. A mitzvah which represents who we are and what we are, that tells us the gvul, our gvul, and avo and yidut Hashem. Let us show you. Yes, sir, for Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi said you have to prepare yourself. There's a party, he's going to give you a party. So he says, what does it mean? You have to mevatel yirotzai. He says, korban means you have to yasher v'yirotzainis. What does it mean, korban? Korban means you give your flesh, your blood. What does mesirus nefesh? It means you give your desires to Hashem. So if somebody, let's say, has a job, and he goes there, the non-religious people there, or there's girls there, and he decides he's not going to work on Shabbos. He has to put himself in danger. Mesirus nefesh. I always says, mesirus nefesh is when you start to learn. You will see. Always when you start to learn, I forgot I have to do this, I have to do that. You have to cut your desire. No, I'm learning now. You cut. That's mesirus nefesh. You moisten the nefesh on the time. This time is dead. And that's also a big limud for chinuch for your children. When your children see, and when you sit and learn everything is dead, and you're cutting all your tzaynos, they don't really know that you moisten the nefesh, and they want to follow you. But when you learn, then you suddenly have to do this, and you did all of this. You go to Hashem, it's not a single nefesh. You're killing your desire, shift the desire right now. That's fear of time, which means life. What's life? Time is life. Life is time. I'm cutting out all my desires in this moment, Fasher. Learning, it's a single nefesh. Come on to Parnosa. Okay, that's a really lower level. Parnosa, money means life. It's also true. That's a side thing. Money means life. Life means time. And you take that time of your life. And you cut, that's my time of learning. That's why when somebody comes to Shamaynis, a fact that you set time to learn. Set means everything is dead. You give a get. You know what's a get? No, the boss that it's over now. And the biggest thing is when you start learning, give a get, the next 15 minutes you don't have to give a get anymore. It's all. It's not because that they give you the schus to learn more, you already have the desire and the spiritual power in you, continue on. But at the beginning, why would it always start serving you? Hey, you have to go this, you have to do that. my soul, my desire, my time in this my desire in this time. I'm telling you, Hashem's will. For us, as they tell you, this is Mesilas. We have to prepare ourselves. That's why the yeshiva, all yeshivas, don't do slichas late at night. Why? Because people get tired. And the whole goal is what? The Moisel Nefesh. What do we do? The Moisel Nefesh, not Hashem, learning Torah. You want to do slichas to Mavai Amon? Make sure you learn Fuz Dorim. The next 4 days, you learn Seder Aleph 4 hours, Seder Beis 4 hours, Seder Gimel 4 hours. Every moment, talk to God. To God, be focused. Moisel Nefesh. So that when you need to do, you need to do. And after that, before that, and after that, in between, you learn Torah. How do you do? You put words on Torah. You look at YouTube and ask Yeshiva, you learn Torah. More than that. Always there. Your heart is there. You miss on office. Very big son. I can tell you myself, my old self, when I was a young boy, 14, 15, I don't know the exact age. I can tell you exactly. Not a young boy. I was 20 years old, not a young boy. I was 20 years old or 19 years old. I went with my father 2 places. So maybe 18 years old and 20. One of the biggest effect that I had for my father was, bless his memory, the Rebbe's as I traveled with him in the summer. One time we went to Turkey. One time we went from Hungary. We traveled in trains all the way to Moscow. It was 2 weeks and back into Ukraine. We traveled almost 2 weeks straight, 2.5 weeks. It was 3 weeks altogether, but in the train physically, we were days and days. I don't know, maybe altogether time and hours, maybe 2 weeks in the train itself. What we did, what did my father did? He learned with us Masechet Makkos. In other words, Makkos, and was nothing else besides learning, sleeping, eating. Learning, sleeping, eating. Nothing else. Can't look at the side, look at the trees, nothing. Wow, my father really loves the Torah. And that was hit me. It hit me in my heart very deep. This is this big lesson to us that we have children, grandchildren. What do you do in your spare time? What would you really imagine? There's a big Mondial or I don't know what, whatever, big something famous. Everyone wants to see big. Don't bother. Can't even bother, right? The desire of learning every moment. Even when he traveled, what do you want to travel? Relax. No, it was Moisel Nefesh. He wasn't so tired. But it was Moisel Nefesh. Have to sleep, massage me, learning to massage Nefesh. You can't even imagine. I don't know if some of you weren't with us, but the Yosef was with others. Well, that's with us. Was Mamish such Mesilas Nefesh I never saw. That's Mesilas Nefesh. Mesilas Nefesh is you cut all your desires only for Hashem. There's no other desires. And on other levels, you put your desires with desire of Hashem. Only your desires Hashem's desire. It's a mimela. You do that, that is the biggest separation for Hashem. That's the Savoila. Make yourself an elevator sacrifice. That's what you have to do. And we demand. I demand from every Buch in Diaspora Yeshiva. This is what you hear. This is what the Yeshiva represents. The Yeshiva represents full commitment. Not 80%, sing, dance, this. It's all great. Only one thing. Totally shibud your desires to Hashem. Total. What the Rebbe used to say? Very well. Not the language. Nothing else. Nothing else. And he was Mekayim by himself. It was Moisel Nefesh. Moisel Nefesh he's tired. Weekends, he was old in Yeshiva. He went to fundraising, came back tired. Day and night to learn. In Shabbos, weekends, from late at night, early morning. I saw yesterday, it says in the first Shulchan Aruch says, Simon Aleph, what does it says? Izgaber Kari, get up like a lion. So I understood. I saw a new light that I didn't see before. And today, somebody gave me a new booklet from Tzvi Miller, Tzvi Shmuel Miller. He made a new book, it's called Chedvas HaTshuva. By the way, today I looked again. on the Chabura that your rabbis wrote. I looked again, the first piece, the second piece, I learned it, I read it well. It's amazing pieces. It's nikne by Chabura with exerting yourself. I enjoyed it very much. And I saw Chedvas HaTshuva. I said, this is what it means. It means Rashi, the Mishnah says, why do you have to get up? What does it say in the Torah? You have to get up in a line. Is it the Haisa law? Is it rabbinic law? Where is it? He says, it's prior, it's understanding of your essence. If what are you created for? To bring honor to Hashem. So can you get up lazy? You have to get up excited. You go for a trip. 6 o'clock, you have to be on the plane. You have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Go to a trip. Look at young guys. They have to be tired. They jump on board. Or they delay. They go to the bathroom. They rush. Excited. You don't get up with excitement to Avodas Hashem every morning. So you have to wait not to hurt your heart. But after that, it means you're missing understand what are you doing here. It's another level. It's not only you miss a nefesh, you do it with happiness. I'm here to serve Hashem. It's not a yoke. It's excitement. Not a yoke. I want to fulfill my desires. Hey, something the body is tired. But in the essence, you're excited. You give me the money. He's going to make money like it's like the essence. And instead of so it says the blind person is accepting all the mitzvahs. So I asked, one time I gave a chabur to Koilel, they learned about Choyvel. It's a sugya there. I said, what about believing in Hashem? It's all right. Because a blind person needs to believe or not. It's prior. It's the essence. You have to believe Hashem. It's essence. To serve Hashem, if you don't have the simcha and you're not understanding what it's all about, you're out of the picture. What I'm here for, I'm getting up for. To eat, to make money. I'm not day to serve Hashem. If we saw Salat said before he died, if Hashem will give you another year or back to the I want to have another Yom Kippur on me. I would say I would add another day of Bizkah he took me to work to serve Hashem. Today I got up in the morning. I remember that word of yesterday. My wife woke me up 20 minutes early. Said she would wake me 15 minutes. I just have to jump. I'm serving Hashem. I have to jump out of there. I have to be excited. It's real. Excited to serve Hashem. Hashem give us the bracha. That everyone here will assist him all. You should make yourself a sacrifice. It's not only to Levatli Yotzoinois, to Hashem's people of Yotzoinois, is to do Hashem's will and Mineli Levatli Yotzoinois, because you do Hashem's will, and to do it Bechedvas HaTshuva, like he calls us book Rabbi Tzvila. And now Bechedvas HaTshuva, Hashem is God calling for happiness. The whole day. Happiness. You are understanding what's all about. And all that you get should be more happy, more dancing. Everyone should have a ksiva v'chasima tova.
Amen. יישר כוח.
שנה טובה.
שנה טובה רב ראובן, רפואה שלמה.
Baruch Hashem. It's kasher. It's a little hard, but I'm managing. Baruch Hashem.
Amen.
I can't wait to see you again.
Amen. Amen. Yishmei Rabba.
שלמה יעשו כמה שלום עלינו, הכל יסמו. בעזרת השם.
Hi, how are you doing, Moshe?
Wait a second.
Rinsky.
רגע, איפה?
Oh, your sucker drove in today.